In 2015, the FBI gave the Islamic State the wink to go ahead and try and whack me. I know because afterwards I called the Miami FBI about it unrelated, and they were like, okay, check your spam folder. And I traced threats back to Saudi Arabia. I had already tried to sue the doctor who ripped off FDIC, but they gave me a hard time. They took my money, and uh, it turns out there was something else. You see, I joined the army when I was 18. I got run off when I was 21, and I never knew why. I was like, I must be sick. It's just me, because these people have no. I had homos and fucking retards following me around. They don't have a real reason to do that. I mean, in America, you can say whatever you want about the government. It doesn't result in litigation. We have this thing called freedom of speech. None of them works here without it. So come to find out, someone fabricated a loose association between me and some coke dealer and used it to poison and cripple a little girl, a little German Catholic girl, which is why I'm not German anymore, because they're a bunch of pussies. Yeah, the FBI got investigated, counter-investigated, because it was a legal investigation. If you can't believe it, you're probably not qualified. They're trying to call me CIA, and then they're putting on this dog and pony show, missing extractions. Well, I won, okay? I don't know what the CIA's position is, but pretty sure they want to join me, not the other way around. After Benghazi and then my experience, I'm pretty sure they want to join me. Unless that's how you recruit the CIA, you rob, rape, and blame little Irish kids and then deprive them of opportunity for 40 years and then try to kill them before they find out what it's about. Is that what CIA means? I should CIA about it, it's a joke. Some of us just don't believe in acronyms, Washington, and getting all crazy with these acronyms like FEMA. Does she know about it? That's real messed up. That's some pretty Muslim games you're playing there, Washington. FEMA. What's wrong with the Federal Emergency Management Administration? First off, it's redundant. Still trying to catch you up on what the FBI does. They're going through the whole etymological process. The FBI really sucks. And Director Comey got fired. Must be really disappointed. First, do no harm, Hair Director. Or the whole thing's a terrorist organization. Better not to compete on this level. There has to be a limit what a man is willing to do to survive, let alone make a buck. Surprised more agents weren't pissed off about Oklahoma City, but I guess when you have no redeeming qualities, kind of out of your hand. New York, September 11th. Well, not authorized. Okay, good. Because I wasn't going to anyway. I don't hate the FBI. Of all the agents I've met, none of them were just a outright pathetic joke to my face. I hate the portrayal of the FBI. This wankster media is feeding us. Okay, one lady did make a joke of herself. Go in the back room and giggle loud enough for me to hear it. Like, that's my clue. That's my pushback. Very professional. You're an inspiration for the rest of us. I didn't go into the whole, tragedy unfolding at length because I didn't want my investigation to end before it started. No, I patted down agents with a full kit under their dress shirt. I've seen one agent turn into two completely different agents behind a car. That might have been the CIA. But then when I went back, they boffed it, so it wasn't the same CIA. You can't just rely overly on your flag system, because putting Washington online was the most expensive mistake in human history. Now they can all be purposely disinformed, uniformly. I come into your office, one of many field offices, just looking for a sit down, and I get giggles because I'm flagged homo, right? I'm guessing. No, it turns out they poisoned a little German Catholic girl and tried to put it on the army. Tried to use me to put it on the army. It's a lot more expensive than your whole goddamn outfit. They did put it on the army, but I aims to get it back. You can either help or you go into kitty. Bet you won't at this point. Bet your stupid fucking life that you won't. There has to be a limit to what a man is willing to do to survive, let alone make a buck. Or it's not religion. You have no credit. Your credit is limited to your possessions. The Pope says that as soon as you become aware of a grievous sin, you're compelled to act. And that statement alone, just that statement, I could do more with this one Pope than anybody could ever hope to accomplish with your outfit, your bloodline, you schmuck. I traced threats ostensibly on behalf of the FBI. There was an element of plausible deniability, except for it was the only thing there. If somebody tells you to meet somebody at a bar and you go to the bar and they're the only one there, okay, either you're compromised or you're in on it. I got the impression you were in on it because you've been conditioned, encouraged to act like a unwashed, gaping zombie asshole for the past at least 30 years is the first I heard of it. When I was still a kid, I heard about it. Like Timothy McVeigh, they called him a racist and da-da-da-da. Like, so what? You had it coming. Was the Oklahoma building, was it a example of like a racial target? No, it was a bunch of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, semi-intelligence agents. Let's call them a racist. And then blame the Jews. Islam means peace or submission. And if you have seen, well, I think of it in terms of like the Olympics. It means submit or die. That's what it means. All they had to do was tell you I was queer, and you go in the back office and lay on your back, throw your legs up over your head, and giggle. I don't know what else they told you. I don't know why there was a crowd of blonde women giving me the evil eye at the DEA office, but I know they poisoned a little German Catholic girl. I don't know if they told you about that part. I know that part for a fact. And it was nobody I couldn't have handled on my own. They're sneaky. Bunch of sneaky fucking retards. Catholic means open to all. They call it the universal church. King David became an Israelite when he took the oath of the covenant with God. Prior to that, so you can become a Jew. It's universal. In Islam, you're either a slave of the prophet or the infidel. Protestants were not allowed to read for 600 years. They've never heard of Socrates. They don't get that when Paul blamed the Jews, they got rid of the Pharisees. And for 600 years later, Islam is a revival. It's the revenge of the Pharisees. So we're not blaming the Jews anymore. Oh, the Talmud is different. Islam's still there. I'm focused on the Protestants because they're stupid. They're the reason we can't have nice things. Remove Islam from the equation and see where they end up. Because Islam is the one that banned reading. Taqiyya. Taqiyya. If you look it up, Muhammad had to pretend to be friendly with his enemies until he could garner enough support to overthrow them and purge the land of all the wicked all at once. Taqiyya is a fundamental aspect of Islam. It's where we get the word taxes from. So Islam, all about taqiyya, turns out. Fascism. Mussolini coined the term fascism because heresy wasn't doing so well in the polls. Germany was already using the Reich. Fascism rejects the church, usually by impersonating it and do terrible publicizing just atrocities. They corrupt the government just real hard with the likes of you guys around. They expand it because peasants, oh no, we need more police, because it couldn't possibly be their fault. And then the overabundance of useless dumb shit cops leads to the collapse of the government, and they blame the church, leaving you holding the bag for the decimation of your own flock. Otherwise, it wouldn't be around anymore, because it's flat earth. It's a casino that cheats at cards. You're either a slave of the prophet or the infidel, and they're the infidel. If you can renounce your faith, it's not a religion. They have a ritualized system of ceremonial burial, so it does qualify as a cult, and we need to give cults more respect. If it does not have a ritualized system of ceremonial burial, it is not a cult. A cult owns property. Well, Catholics have ritualized systems of last rites. You're goddamn right. None of the people, I suspect of poisoning that little girl would have ever said shit to my face. If she'd have said, can you do something about so-and-so, I'd have been like, yeah. Ask why later, because, she was fancy. She had a bright future. Instead, they told her to ask me to help her sell cocaine. I don't have the network for that, and I just joined the army. Not exactly, it's frowned upon. The only people I know who would be interested would be the ones who've been trying to get me involved in it, because the FBI's been calling me a fucking homo since I was 3 years old. You cannot, within the realm of God's creation, be born that way. It's called child molesters. It's supposed to be part of your purview. It can't just be your job. That's a racket, and we all know it's not just your job. But it is part of your job. You should be more interested. Unless you're just a scam for the Muslims to sell cocaine so they can control Congress. You're also supposed to work on corruption, and not just you. It's a racket. 30 years of crack epidemic full of school shootings. Timothy McVeigh blows up an FBI office because they had it coming. You call them a racist. Just explain it away. Major crimes have been committed. Crimes against the state and humanity. International pharmaceutical industrial sabotage, Congress. We don't elect you to stop us from throwing the tea in the harbor. You need a map? Well, how do we compete against the Taliban? They control 77% of the world's opioid production. We need that to synthesize medications. Well, Islam is not a religion, IRS. We don't have to compete. In the meantime, cocaine, in its raw, unprocessed, the only ingredient added is sunlight to dry it out. It's technically kosher. It's not for the kids. It is a poison plant, but we can synthesize medications with it if we stop treating brown people like war criminals. George H.W. Bush, not a bad guy. He didn't deserve to die, he's an old man, but with some ham-fisted schmo handling his finances. Some lackadaisical, no good. We're going to get all that money back. This is the New World Order. Oh, the NWO is bad, says the messenger of Allah mass media broadcast zombie apocalypse since Vietnam. This is the New World. You live in the New World. Whatever order takes control here will be the New World Order. You can either be a part of it or you cannot. Islam's time has come, Protestants. Whatever. You're none of my concern. You'll figure it out eventually. No law against being a peasant. Oh, did I forget to tell you what Protestant actually means? It's called a dictionary. Read a book. mfrodeo.blogspot.com. First, I shall do no harm. Which reminds me of a story.